Like I said, this is going to be super interactive. So if I were you, I'd come a little bit closer because I do have candy. Halloween candy, you guys. And yes, it glows in the dark. No, the wrapper, okay? The wrapper, don't worry. I also have some beautiful swan stickers like I promised. But let's dive into this. So my name is Chloe Mastagi, as you've heard. I am the VP of Strategy. I'm also the co-founder of WOSEC. If you see there's Tanya. She was your keynote speaker today. And then also I'm the founder of Women Hackers, which is an online community for women. All around the world, we have over 600 women of all levels hackers. And also I founded a nonprofit. But most importantly, out of this entire list of items, the thing that's most important is this. This is Sherlock. Sherlock is a Shiba Inu. I'm pretty sure she's mixed with a Jindo, though. And that's her in a diaper, 3 months old. And is she happy? No, not at all. But you'll see a lot of her probably throughout these slides. So we're going to dive into a little bit of history on gamification. And then after that, we're going to go into how our brains are actually stimulated. That's right. My background is cognitive science. So we're going to really dive into your brain. And also, there will be activities. So why gamification helps security teams, but last but not least, of course, the lives that have been changed because of it. So remember to pay attention to all details because there will be throughout the whole time activities, so you can win some wonderful chocolate. And for those with peanut allergies, I do have Kit Kats for you. So you have a choice of peanut M&Ms and Kit Kats. So let's dive into it. What exactly is gamification? It's basically games that work on problem solving and processing speed, attention span, and memory, of course. Now, this is the driest part of the entire thing if you're not a fan of history. So, once again, pay attention to details because I have sugar. So, the first thing is 425 BC, dice games were actually invented to fight major famine. And in 3100, the first board game was ever invented in Egypt. And S&H Green Stamp was the first time ever marketers sold stamps to other retail stores to get clients to come back over and over and over. And in 1958, the very first video game was invented. And Charles Cordat founded a consulting firm called the Game of Work, and it brings feedback loops found in sports into the workplace. MUD1 is created by Roy Trabshaw at Essex University. It was the first multi-user virtual world game. And Thomas Malone publishes What Makes Things Fun to Learn, a study of intrinsically motivating computer games. In 1981, the first ever 3D video games were released. And believe it or not, American Airlines was the first one to do a first frequent flyer program. And Holiday Inn launched their loyalty program, followed by National Car Rental did theirs as well. And now at this point, 30% of American households own an NES. A new generation of gamers is basically born at this point. And then Richard Bartle publishes Who Plays MUAs, which divides video game players into 4 unique types. So, like I said, I got candy. You want candy? Whoever's the first person to raise their hand and give me the correct answer, well, first you have to be called on. Come on, we're in elementary school a little bit today. Let's do this. In what year did the first video game come out?
1958.
Perfect. M&Ms or Kit Kat?
I'll take the peanuts.
Okay. Excellent. Next question. What country invented the first board game?
Egypt.
Correct. Which one do you want?
Kit Kat.
Kit Kat. What airline did the first frequent flight? Okay.
American.
Yes. Which one?
Kit Kat.
Kit Kat. Wasn't that fun? Don't worry. There's more to come. Like I said, history's the driest part usually. So, In 2002, Serious Gaming Initiatives forges a link between the gaming industry and training, health, education, and public policy. And in 2003, Nick Pelling coins the term gamification. In 2007, Bunchball created Dunder Mifflin Infinity. It's a gamified website for the TV show The Office, and it received over 8 million page views within 6 weeks. 2009, Quest to Learn accepts a class of 6th graders into a game-based learning environment. And 2010, DevHub adds a point system to its website and increases their user engagement by 70%. 2010, Gamification Co. Holds the first gamification summit in, anyone want to guess? It's a tech area. San Francisco. Congrats. Sorry, there was no candy for that one. 2012, 45,000 enroll in a Professor Kevin Warbach's online gamification course on Coursera. In 2012, Mozilla Open's Badges Initiative is launched. It's the first time ever open source badges are being used to mark accomplishments online. In 2012, Gartner predicts 70% of global 2,000 organizations will have at least one gamified application by 2014, which was true. 2014, M2 Research predicts that the gamification will be a $2.8 billion industry by 2016, which is true, and it went actually way beyond that. It's now expected to be an $11 billion industry by 2020. And yes, you get more chances of candy. Who coined the term gamification? Anyone? That was Nick Pelling. Nick Pelling. Sounds like Jeopardy a bit. Next one. What was the gamified website by Bunchball for the TV show The Office called? Yes?
Dunder Mifflin Unlimited?
Yes, Dunder Mifflin. Which one do you want? Kick. I'm going for the first one in front of me. Gamification is expected to become a what billion-dollar industry by 2020?
11?
Yes. Kit Kat or M&M's?
M&M, please.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so this is the end of the pop quiz. And maybe there will be some more. It's going to remain a mystery, keep you on the edge of your seat. But let's be real here. Even though you saw all of that, infosec has always been involved in gamification. Think about it. We have CTFs, we have hackathons. I mean, we have bug bounties too. We basically run on it. And many of us in this room actually got into this space because what? We were gamers at some point. We sucked at what we did and we wanted to get better, so we found codes and cheat ways. There you go. It's the exact same thing. It's like when we're trying to find a vulnerability, we're going down this foxhole and we're like, how can I outsmart this? So yeah, of course I'm going to dive into history on the infosec side. So in 1995, Netscape was the first one ever to create a bug bounty program that we know of today. And the first DEFCON CTF was 1996. And right at this point now, you have company bug bounty programs. So that was opening up on Google, Facebook side, and then Pawn to Own started in 2007. And then the birth of bug bounty platforms such as Bugcrowd, Synac, and HackerOne came about. And last but not least, but now we're seeing more and more people doing bug bounties, hackathons, and also CTFs in their own office space. And yeah, there's more pop quiz. So the first bug bounty program was created in which year?
95?
Yep. Kit Kat or M&M's? More Kit Kats. All right. When was the first CTF at DEFCON?
96?
What you like?
Kit Kat.
Kit Kat. What are the 3 major bug bounty companies in the order of creation? Now, this is a trick one because I never told you. Any guesses? Okay, it's Bugcrowd, HackerOne, and Synac. And that is the end of the pop quiz. But don't worry, we're going to dive into your brain now. I hope you're ready. So we're going to talk a little bit about what part of your brain was just stimulated. So let's first go here. I want you to focus on that green part. That is the temporal lobe. That's the area which is usually more active when it comes to gaming. So basically all those pop quiz, that was a test on your short-term memory, which happens in your temporal lobe, but even within that is the hippocampus. The hippocampus is where your short-term memories are usually. So overall, temporal lobe is involved in processing sensory input into derived meanings for the appropriate retention of visual memory, language comprehension, and emotion association. This is literally where gamification thrives because the two parts, the hippocampus and the amygdala. And yes, we're going to do an activity. So I'm going to say a line out loud, and you guys are going to tell me what it is. And everyone can participate. Just shout it out. There's no raising of hands. We're adults here. Okay. A plant having a permanently woody main stem, usually growing to a high height and developing branches at some distance from the ground.
Tree.
Good job. The nutritious orange to yellow root of a plant of the parsley family. Good job. An article of furniture consisting of a flat top supported on one or more legs. An institution where instruction is given. A moving cage for carrying passengers from one level to another. A device for transmission of sound or speech to a distant point. Telephone. A body of water of considerable size surrounded by land. Lake. Come on, you guys, it's not ocean. A domestic fowl bred for its flesh, eggs, and feathers. A shallow, usually circular dish from which food is eaten. Plate. A precipitation in the form of ice crystals. A circulating medium of exchange. See, that's the hardest one on that list, believe it or not. So what was that test really about? We're going to dive into that, but that was another activity of basically putting memory and visual clues to come up with a word that's associated with the description, and that happens in your temporal lobe. So now we're going to dive into the amygdala and hippocampus, but first I want to go into the hippocampus because that's the title of this entire talk. So the short-term memories are stored in your hippocampus, and then afterwards it then goes into the rest of the temporal lobe. So now you form long-term memories. So the exercise of the pop quiz, that was activating your hippocampus because it was all brand new information, but also was the short-term memory practice. Our conscious memories are actually formed by the hippocampus by taking a snapshot of short-term working memory and committing it to a long-term memory stored in the temporal lobes. So remember that. Next activity. I told you it's totally gamified, you guys. All right, I want you to take a look at this list. I want you to read it twice to yourself. And when you are done, raise your hand. And keep your hands raised so I know. Still waiting. Everyone's good? Okay. Cool. So your next step, I'm actually going to ask you to take out your phone. And I won't get angry. I won't throw candy at you, unless you want that. Next step. So I want you to open up an email. Or what you can do, instead of doing an email, you can do your notes, whatever works best. Once you have that, raise your hand. And yes, I have an educational background, so I'm going to make you clap. I'm going to make you raise your hands. All right. We're good? Everyone's ready? Next step, I want you to write those things, but in order. Good luck. You have 2 minutes. I'm setting the timer now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off. All right. Phones down, hands up. Okay, you're not getting arrested. You can put your hands down. Come on, what's wrong with you guys? All right. How many of you guys got 10 items in the exact order? Raise your hand. How many of you guys got all those words? Raise your hand. How many of you guys got at least 9 of those words? Excellent. Were they in some sort of order?
They were in exact order. I just missed like that little toy.
Ah,
9.5. I mean, jumper.
yeah, the red jumper one.
And I cheated. I think
So how did you guys kind of figure out or remember these? Group them. That's one way. Story. So the story is definitely the one way. So for example, for those that don't know, say for example, let's see here. I'm in London and it's raining. Have my umbrella up and my shoe is just kind of falling apart because I accidentally stepped on this cuddly toy, and because I was looking at this melon that was in the storefront, but then at the same time when I was walking, I almost hit the tree because there was like this yogurt on the ground for some reason. Because also not just that, in that moment, a parrot flew over my head. Why is a parrot in London? And then I was thinking, oh crap, I could have destroyed my laptop in my bag because not just that, but also I could have ruined my red jumper. But you know what? It's totally cool because I got a basketball at home and it's going to take care of all of this. So the thing is that coming up with a story, the more crazy you make it, the more you'll remember it. So this is one good practice of the hippocampus. So for example, gaming modules can really help with this. So crossword puzzles, taking a new route home. So don't use the same one because you're not challenging your brain. Because it's like flexing muscles, you guys. But you don't have to actually lift any weights. It's fantastic. And then you have gaming modules. So now we're going to dive into the amygdala. Who has heard of this amygdala? Excellent. Okay, so this amygdala, for those that don't know, it's an almond-shaped part in your brain. It is the fight versus flight mechanism. It is your survival mechanism, and it's completely subconscious. So whatever you were told as a kid or some point in media from your parents, from your teachers, those things really lock in. For example, if I see, okay, there's no one with pink hair in here, right? Okay, good. So if my parents told me people with pink hair are really dangerous, then it's going to be stuck in my head, this socially constructed idea. And so when I see someone with pink hair, I'm going to run across the street because I'm afraid of someone with pink hair. So the whole thing, though, that to be well aware of is that, don't worry, your brain's not always like this. What happens is that it has to first give the message to the prefrontal cortex, the very front part of your brain, which is like the CEO, and it tells it to calm down or to act. So then that becomes a conscious decision at that point. But this is where, when timing is going down, or when you're like, I really need that chocolate, like I really want that chocolate, like I gotta have that chocolate or else I cannot breathe, I cannot live, then your amygdala is set on. Does anyone have a chocolate craving? Okay. So the next thing is going to be a 2-block thing. It's a video, and hopefully my sound works. If not, I will be the narrator. So let's do this.
Watch this series of images.
Can anyone hear that?
Ready? Go. Do you recall seeing any shoes or keys? Probably not. At this speed, 80% of the people we showed this to don't see either the shoes or the keys. We'll slow it down. Did you see them this time? You probably did. Now, we're going to...
Okay, before I go to the next, how many people saw the keys and the shoes? Second time, but what about first time? First time shoes. It was all chicken for you. Someone's hungry, aren't you? All right, you ready for the second part?
play a different series of images and test you on them after. Ready? Go. Did you happen to notice any snakes or spiders? Chances are you did. In case you're thinking we slowed down the images, I assure you we did not. All we did was substitute the shoes and keys with pictures of snakes and spiders. Why did one set of images jump out at you while the other didn't? To answer that question is Dr.
No, we don't need to hear from him. I'll just tell you guys. All right, so basically what happened is that these socially constructed ideas of threat is something that makes you really like just focus on that. For example, how many of you guys been in a car accident? Now, when you're in that car accident, was there ever a moment when something just felt like it was slowing down really, really slow? That's because your amygdala hijacked your brain at that point. So in a sense that all you could think about was survival. So that's how you see when you see spiders and snakes, sometimes they're not your friends, even though they look cuddly to some people, which I feel is very strange. All right. So we kind of dive already into the brain, and now let's go a little bit more into the data now. So why does gamification really help security teams out? Has anyone ever seen the show? It's so good. So besides that, how many of you guys have certifications in here? How many of you feel like your certifications prepared you for your job? I'm so glad we're on the same page right now. Oh my God. I've talked to so many CISOs that are like, I will not hire anyone on my team unless they have certifications. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're gonna build a really good red team. Very good. Because, you know, there's like black hats. Yeah, they really have their certifications too. So this is the thing is like we have new tools, we have new exploits. We always have to be aware of these new trends that are coming through. And not just that, we're also dealing with a major, guess what, burnout. How many of you guys have felt burnout on your team? Because there's not enough. Or better yet, none of us are fully trained to a certain extent. And if we were to give everything we could to be fully trained all the time, we wouldn't sleep ever. So, I mean, we all have insomnia, but I mean, like, still. So we're going to dive a little bit about why it's really important for us to really focus on gamification as a way to make us better at what we do, but also to help our security teams out. So in 2020, gamification combined with the other latest technologies and trends will have a significant impact on the design of employee performance, globalization of higher education, and innovation. Thank you, Gartner. Took the words right out of my mouth. Okay, so fact number 1, 96% of organizations adopt gamification in the workplace and report seeing benefits. That means doing hackathons, CTFs. For those that don't know CTFs, capture the flag. Red team, blue team, or bug bounty programs are the most common of these. And fact number 2, more than half, so 57% of respondents report that using games increase awareness and IT staff knowledge of how breaches can be occurred. 43 said that gamification enforces a teamwork culture needed for a quick, effective cybersecurity, and 77% of senior managers agreed that their organization would be safer if they used more gamification. So we do have a 3 million shortage right now. And honestly, now what's happening is security teams are turning to find other people. So now you might have these questions when you're having an interview, which is like, so you play any games? Are you a gamer? Because they're looking for that quality, that part where you're constantly exercising and learning new things and applying it. So about nearly 92% of respondents believe that gaming affords players experience and skills critical to cybersecurity threat hunting, logic, perseverance, and an understanding of how to approach adversaries in a fresh outlook compared to traditional cybersecurity hires. And 77% of employees find game-based training to be more effective than traditional training methods. I don't know about you, but when was the last time you opened a history book or a textbook and it's like, yay? No. Let's be real. How many of you guys rather like learn hands-on? I don't know about you, but I hated fractions as a kid because I was like, what is the point of this? This is hurting my brain and I don't see the point. You know when it became a point was when I had to bake something. When I realized, hey, if I put 2 tablespoons of baking soda on this, what's gonna happen? An eruption. That's what's gonna happen. And my dad's gonna clean it up. Love you, Dad. Fact number 5, gamification helps with finding talent and recognition. Now, for the first time ever, people are now using gaming modules as part of their hiring process. So for the first time ever, we look beyond names and backgrounds. That means for the first time ever, we are removing biases. Because say, for example, you apply for a job as a woman. There are biases that we all have. And it might be like, well, I don't know, she might not be good at red teaming because there's this really old belief that men are better at it or are in it more often. So it's a common belief that it's not questioned sometimes. So now you remove that, and then you get resumes. without like the name and whatnot and have them do the modules, you'll see there's a huge difference. And we have definitely noticed that now, is that more and more when we take the name out of the situation and we just apply gaming, like these gaming modules, and without looking at whether or not this person has certifications, we have a better idea whether or not they're going to do well on the team. And usually those are the ones that end up scoring the highest, or the ones you don't believe will do well. And like I said, we have a skills gap. So how are we going to do this? I'm not going to read textbooks. I did, you know, how many of you guys have the Web Applications Handbook? Second edition. Yeah, second edition, people. I mean, like, it's great and everything, but oh my God, I remember like going through that. I'm like, I don't know what I just read. I don't remember anything. So having something that's very active, hands-on is a way you learn. Like we have noticed so far in this talk, right? Okay. And of course, another game. Okay, what percentage of companies that adopt gamification in the workplace report seeing benefits? Good job. Kit Kat or M&Ms? Don't worry, guys, I still have candy. Plenty of candy and stickers. So, also gamification has transformed lives. Besides those ones I was telling you about, like the removing the biases and having them do like these gaming modules before being hired, they actually have a shot at getting jobs first time ever because this has been used. So I'm going to share 2 stories with you. One is Veronica. Veronica got a BA in computer science by accident. She basically was planning to study Latin and Greek, but then she did like this, she did take a couple computer science classes, and she realized this is her new passion. So when she was graduating, she's like, okay, what's my next thing? And basically she was told that she would have to do a PhD. And she was like, I don't really know if I want to do a PhD. And so she ended up doing some youth development work for 5 years, but then felt she loved it, but she didn't feel challenged enough. It didn't like make her feel like she was learning anything new. So she was looking at, you know, several different movies, some point in her life. She remembered this movie Hackers and was like, I kind of want to learn that. I want to be the next Angelina Jolie, don't we all? And then saw this partnership with DoD, a boot camp. And they were looking for someone with good problem-solving ability and being able to work on problems for a long time and the willingness to have disciplined learning. And she loved working with patterns and puzzles. So she was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. So her very first thing was on reverse engineering with Escalate. And afterwards, she actually went to go work for a consulting company. And about 6 months into it, she then got recruited from Point 3 to join team with them. She was a pen tester without any experience, no certifications at all, and within 6 months of that boot camp, she got hired, and then someone else grabbed her to be like, hey, come join us. So, I mean, the thing is that a lot of people don't know that they want to be hackers. They don't see it as a possibility. And so this is kind of a cool thing because she never knew that that's what she always wanted to do. But if you look through her Google history, okay, maybe got some access to her computer at some point, and I may have looked at her Google history, but you could totally see for many, many years that she was always looking at web app strategies on how to manipulate and change and shape something. So she was always this hacker deep down inside, but she didn't know it. Valentina. So Valentina lives in Chicago, and she first wanted to study psychology, but she also hated math because it wasn't applied. A lot of times math in the US when you're studying it is not applied to a certain extent, so people don't have that passion, and that's why we have less people in STEM. So go back to your teachers and be like, please do a better job. So she did take one math class because she had to in college, and she suddenly realized, this is the love of my life. I will forever love this. And so she decided to continue studying math at UIC. But she did do an internship at the physics department, and she had to learn basic coding. And so she took a class in computer science as well to go with that. Afterwards, when she graduated, she was an economist at the Federal Reserve Bank, but she still had a love for computers. The ability to tell a computer what to do and build anything is pretty remarkable and empowering. So computer security sounded something she wanted to get into. And she was also thinking, hacking sounds kind of cool too, because she saw it in movies and she seemed very interested as well. So early computer internet culture and the hacking community image really was something that she really wanted to be part of. So once again, kind of like the Silmer story, they both really wanted to learn a lot to be like Angelina Jolie. I mean, come on, she's amazing. Okay. But she did see a press release from the mayor of Chicago, and basically was like saying, we have this special boot camp, send us your applications. And this was sponsored by Escalating the DoD. She applied, she actually got a spot. And with zero experience, within 6 months into the boot camp, she was hired immediately, which was fantastic. So once again, it's evidence and proof that there's people out there that want to do this, but this is a way how to do it. But most importantly, this is the third time I've ever done this talk. So I want to get everyone else's stories, not just my two colleagues, but if any of you guys have a story of how Bug Buddy changed you, or a hackathon changed you, a CTF, like what has changed you in your career? If you do, come up and talk to me. I have stickers and candy. So next question. Who was inspired by the movie Hackers? Does anyone remember?
Inspired to laugh.
You're right. Uh-huh. I think the guy in the red shirt in the far back, who was it? Do you know? Who was inspired by Hackers? Okay.
This is the best movie of all time, and it's all realistic when you're on LSD and everything.
Love it. Yes. Actually, the answer to this is that both of them were to a certain extent. I didn't see Hackers until I became a hacker, and let me tell you, I was just like, wait, Angelina Jolie was a hacker in a movie? Yeah, I admire her. That's why I bring her up. So from stories from brain functioning and history, it's very clear that gamification is a necessity right now. And not just that, it helps us be superheroes every day. Think about it, all of us. Who are blue teamers in this room? Raise your hand. Okay, how many of you guys are purple teamers in the room? Red teamers? Who's a red teamer? Wait, we only have one red teamer? That's so strange. I'm just saying, we all, every single day, we're breaking, we're fixing, and we're doing it to keep everyone safe. And a lot of us are in it because of curiosity, but most importantly, we are literally preventing breaches every single day. And that's empowering. So give you guys a little pat on the back, if you can reach your back. I like how I do this, and like everyone's like, I don't know if I feel comfortable doing this around strangers. And also, I just want to also bring this up. I'm coming to an end, clearly. But there is a first ever virtual CTF for women. If any of you guys are on Twitter or LinkedIn, please share this. We announced it 2 weeks ago, and we're trying to get 1,000 women to participate around the world. We have women all the way in Sudan, to Kenya, to Philippines, to, I think, where else? Taiwan, and I know Singapore, the US, Canada, all over Europe. Please share this around. There are still some seats left, 150 seats left right now. And I want to make sure that every single woman knows about this. Even if they are not in security, get them. I want to recruit them. And even if they're under the age of 18, let me know, because we do allow them to participate as long as their parents give authorization. Any questions? Has anyone seen this clip? Okay, so for those that didn't, guess what? I made sure to end a little bit early so you guys can laugh really hard. I have the clip waiting here. So any questions? Besides, I have stickers for you, and yes, there is still leftover candy here. All right, cool. I think everyone just really wants to watch this. I just want to say before I do share this video, I want to say thank you guys for existing, and thank you to LastCon for having me. And when I say thank you for existing, I think it's something that we need to say more often to each other, especially when it comes to mental health in the community. We all know someone who is has extreme depression, or maybe has tried to commit suicide, or has committed suicide. So please share that around. Be like, thank you for existing to regular people. Say it to a stranger on the street, literally. I kid you not. People need to hear that more today than ever before. All right, now let's do this. 1 second. Okay. I want to make sure this is the loudest possible. And enjoy.
Welcome to 100 Floors of Frights. Enter at your own risk.
Do things jump out at you on this ride?
Yeah, babe, it's the scariest ride of Fright Nights.
Good evening. I'm your elevator operator, Mark. Now, please hold on as this ride goes off in the night.
Oh, don't make fun of me if I scream, okay?
It's 100 floors of frights, babe. I'll probably be screaming too.
And now, hold on for dear death.
Winifred Rogers got cold feet and hung herself in the honeymoon suite. Oh my gosh.
She totally jumped.
So did you.
Floor 20, home of our 5-star restaurant.
Today's special. Your head!
That was my head. Is that why you take your picture when you enter the park?
I'm not telling. 49th floor.
Here we go.
How's it hanging? I'm David Pumpkins, and I'm gonna scare the hell out of you. Question. Scared, speechless.
Oh, no. I'm just trying to wrap my head around David Pumpkins. I mean, are we supposed to know who that is?
Yeah, it was just a guy in a pumpkin suit and 2 b-boy skeletons. I don't get how that's scary.
When you don't get frights, you fear them. 26th floor.
Can I sleep in your bed tonight? Yeah, see, I get why she's scared.
Yeah, creepy girl from the ring, but David Pumpkins? I mean, is he from something?
Yeah, like, is he from a local commercial or?
Well, the scariest thing to the mind is the unknown. David Pumpkins.
I know, but like, who are you?
I'm David Pumpkins, man.
Okay, yeah, and David Pumpkins is.
His own thing.
And the skeletons are part of it.
Are you part of this ride?
To do this.
Pumpkins!
Any question?
Yes! Several! I mean, until now I am so in the weeds with David Pumpkins!
Hey, don't let David Pumpkins ruin your night, please.
That's Pumpkins. Floor 99.
How much David Pumpkins is in this?
73 out of 100 floors.
Why did you go all in on David Pumpkins?
And look, it's 100 floors of frights. They're not all gonna be winners. Floor 100.
Okay, so now it's just the skeletons. Great.
Ready or not, here we dance.
I'm happy.
Happy Halloween.
How many was that your first time saying? Amazing, right? You're gonna share that around. Yeah. And if you really want to take home some knowledge, that was the amygdala that he reacted to. It was like, oh my God. So yeah. Thank you for coming. I do have Candy come up and say hi, and I got some stickers too.